Alright guys, last week we talked about 3 things your fear is hindering you from, and as a natural progression of that video, this week, guess what we're talking about? Ding, 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 ding. We're talking about harnessing your fear into strengths. Harnessing your fear into strengths. Stick around, I don't think you want to miss this. Alright guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Immigration Helper, where, as you know, we discuss all things life and legal. This week I've already discussed a legal topic which was probably posted a few days ago if you're seeing this, and now I want to talk to you about your life topic, and that is harnessing your fear into strength. Harnessing your fear into strength. Real quickly, as a backdrop, we discussed 3 things your fear is hindering you from, and that's at the top. You can catch that at the top. But if you remember, we talked about how every single person has some innate fears, and some of these fears are put in us to keep us safe. For instance, this fear of snakes, fear of wasps, fear of dangerous animals or things like that, or dangerous situations. They usually help a person get away from danger. So those are natural and normal fears, and those are healthy fears. On the contrast, discussed unhealthy fears. Again, you can catch all this at the link above, and you can be caught up as we continue to talk about this today. Now, I wanted to start there because I wanted to say that, hey, fear is normal. Every person has a single fear. And I was actually talking to someone last night. In a conversation, I sort of came to the conclusion, and I actually told the person, like, hey, don't feel bad that you have fears. We all have fears. And matter of fact, different stages in life bring different fears. For instance, the fears maybe that I have now, they were different from when I was 20 or when I was 15, right? Okay, maybe my fear at the age of 15 was just maybe not getting into the college that I wanted to, right? Or maybe not making it in life, right? Or not ending up where I should end up, right? Then maybe at 20 or 22, when you're graduating college, your only fear in life then is not getting a job, or not getting the job that you want, right? Or not being able to really survive on your own. That's like really your only fear around the age 20 or 22. Then in your 20s, if you're a woman, there's certain fears that come with that. And then in your 30s, there's certain fears that come with that. Then if you're a lawyer, well, there's certain fears that come with a lawyer. What if I mess up this client's case? What if I don't know what I'm doing? All sorts of little stupid fears pop up, right? Depending on your stage in life. Now, if you're a businesswoman like me, some of the fears that I face are just like, what if my business never makes it to its full potential? What if I'm not able to do what I'm supposed to do this year? Little stupid fears like that. And then there's bigger fears that I obviously can share with you, right? But they exist. Now, all I'm saying is that every single person has fears, and certain fears come with certain levels that we find ourselves in. That's normal. The key is to recognize it, fight it, and face it as soon as possible, and move on. So my number 1 tip on how to harness your fear into strength is that, first of all, just recognize it. Don't deny it. Recognize it, accept it, acknowledge it. That's number 1. Number 2, you actually need to take steps towards it. Practical steps towards overcoming your fear. Why? Because the longer you wait, the bigger it's gonna get. So take practical steps. Each week, say, I have this fear of, as a business owner, of not meeting the needs of my clients, not being what I should be. Okay, so how can I face that fear every week, every month? And every week, every month, just take steps towards facing your fear, and you'll be good, literally. And then you'll find that as you face your fears, some of the fears just literally, they're no longer fear anymore. Doesn't mean you'll never have another fear ever again in your life. It just means now that you've overcome one fear, you're able to overcome another fear. All right, then number 3, I would really actually admonish you to pray. If you're a believer, if you believe in the power of a higher being, or if you believe in God, I would definitely say pray. I think prayer works wonders. I think prayer works miracles. I think prayer does a lot. Even in my practice, a lot of people think I'm God, or think that I'm able to just do every single thing and solve every single problem for them. Not true. There are some cases that I will have oppositions that I didn't expect. Things will go wrong in the case that I never anticipated going wrong. And that's somewhere in the middle of the case. And I simply pray about it. And I tell God to take over. And guess what? At the end, we end up winning. I'm like, dang, how did we win that case? So I absolutely am a believer in prayer, because I think there's some things outside of our control. And then there's sometimes even too where ICE or USCIS will do something wrong to a client that's unlawful. They will maybe detain a client that they're not supposed to. They'll maybe reject something they're not supposed to reject, and I have to resend it. And when I'm resending, I'm praying, okay? Or when I'm fighting ICE about a client, I'm praying. I'm like, God, help me out here. You know they're wrong, Lord. Help me out. And guess what he does? He helps me out. So prayer absolutely works. Pray about your fears. Take them to God. Say, God, I have these are my fears. Help me take the steps I need to take to overcome them. Just help me. And guess what? He will. And then lastly, how to harness your fear into strength is basically just recognizing and realizing that fear is like anything else. The more you ignore it, the stronger it gets, the bigger it gets. I don't think you heard me. Let me go back to that. Fear is like anything else. The more you deny it, the stronger it gets, the bigger it gets. So, my friend, if you're watching this today, what's your fear? Remember I told you write that down as your homework for last week in the last video. What's your fear? Okay? Take steps to harness your fear into strength. It's absolutely possible. I'm a living testimony of that. I never thought I could own a business and run it well. I never thought I could be on social media, but I am. I never thought I could do weekly vids and do them well, but I do. And guess what? How am I able to do that? I simply face my fears, and I simply invoke the power of the Most High God to do it. See you guys next week. Love you guys. Bye-bye.